I'll just do this. Yeah. Your Honor?
Yeah.
A couple things. Philip Castro refused
Again, okay.
again. Bowen is not here yet, so we're gonna start with the misdemeanors. If that's okay with you. Okay.
Good evening, I'm Judge Shade and you are?
Elizabeth Davis.
Ms. David, I've got a couple of things here for you. Citation charging you with assault. Alleged occurred early this morning. And another citation charging you with domestic violence assault, domestic violence disorderly conduct. Alleged occurred yesterday evening. Your next court date on this matter is going to be the 1st of October at 10 o'clock in the morning in the South Tucson City Court. Do you understand you need to be present at that time?
Yes, ma'am.
In the meantime, you'd have no contact with Liliana or Jorge.
Okay,
You're not to go within 2 blocks of their residence or their workplace.
okay,
You can go back there once with law enforcement to get your personal belongings. No acts of domestic violence, and you need to obtain a behavioral health assessment and begin any recommended treatment. Do you understand that?
yes,
Right? If you need help with housing or anything else, there's a place right outside the jail called the Transition Center. Just follow the blue line and they can help you with things. All right?
thank you,
And
thank you.
be sure you show up on that day though.
I will, I will. Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Judge Shade, and you, sir, are
Good evening. How are you?
good evening, I'm Judge Shade, and your name, sir?
Michael Rascon.
Mr. Rascon. Citation here charging you with refusing to provide a truthful name. Alleged occurred early this morning.
Is that all I'm in here for?
Well, you also have a U.S. Marshal warrant.
Okay.
The only thing that I'm gonna see you on is this misdemeanor.
Then I'm gonna stay here after that.
Well, we'll appoint Robin Ald to represent you on these charges. And set a pretrial for tomorrow at 1 o'clock. And a bond of $250.
So if I pay that $250, can I leave?
No, because you've still got the U.S. Marshal hold.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Rascon.
Yeah, that's okay. Pajuelo.
Okay. That's weird. Oops. It's fixed. Thank you. Good evening, I'm Judge Shayed, and you are?
Fernando Valenzuela. Padilla Valenzuela.
Mr. Valenzuela. Citation here charging you with domestic violence violation of a court order. Your next court date is going to be tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Your bond is $500.
Thank you, ma'am.
Carlos Betancourt Morales is appointed to represent you. You'd have no
So I-
contact with the alleged victim. You're not to go within 3 blocks of the victim's residence or workplace. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am, I do. So I have court tomorrow at 1 a.m. I mean, 1 p.m., sorry,
That's correct.
1 p.m. Okay, so I'm gonna say, same for the night, obviously. So,
Unless you
thank you.
$100 bond.
Okay, I have one more question. Is that fine?
Sure.
Okay, so what Judge Morales, you said? Or the attorneys Morales?
Betancourt Morales, yes.
Okay, so court tomorrow at 1 p.m. Okay, so hopefully I can get out tomorrow.
That'll be up to the judge tomorrow.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right.
Good night. Good night.
Henry.
Hey.
Good evening. I'm Judge Shade, and you are
Or Canr.
Mr. Wright, Mr. Canr. I have quite lots of things here for you. I have charges for today for criminal trespass and possession of paraphernalia. Charges from September 10th for possession of paraphernalia. Charges from October 10th of last year. Criminal trespass, possession of prescription only drug. Along with failures to appear in court. Possession of paraphernalia on April 26th of 2024, failing to appear in court. Criminal trespass, May 6th of 2024, failing to appear in court. Charges for criminal trespass and possession of paraphernalia on June 14th of this year, failing to appear in court. And possession of paraphernalia from June 17th of this year, failure to appear in court. Jim, has there been an update since last week about who we're appointing when? I haven't seen. Yeah, it was just till the 13th. Right. Okay, then that's what I'll do. We'll appoint public defender's office to represent you on these charges. Your bond is $500. If you post the bond, your court date is October the 21st at 2 o'clock. Conditions of release include no alcohol or illegal drugs, no returning to 2030 North Caminos, Serna, 55515 East Grant, 6580 East Calle La Paz, or 6503 East Tanque Verde. And substance abuse assessment and treatment. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
So if you post the bond, court date's October 21st at 2:00. If you haven't posted the bond, you'll be seen on September 27th at about 1:45. Thank you, Mr. Canr. Good evening, I'm Judge Shayad, and you are?
Alexandra Soto.
Ms. Soto, the citation's here from April 16th of this year for shoplifting and possession of paraphernalia. We'll appoint City Public Defender's Office to represent you on these charges. Hold you on $100 bond. You've got a DOC hold and a Superior Court hold, so you're not going anywhere in any event.
Right.
Next court date will be September the 7th at 1:45. You're not to go back to Ross. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Right, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Judge Shayad. You are?
I'm Donovan Angla 10.
Yes, good is. I have several things here for you. In numerical order. We'll start with 2 counts of armed robbery alleged to have occurred on or about the 9th of September. Will appoint public defender's office to represent you on these charges, and that either counsel wish to be heard just on this charge.
And yes, Judge, you're looking at the 9-9 charge, is that right?
Yes.
Yes, Judge, we'd like to be heard in, for this case, Judge, we're asking for a $5,000 bond for Ms. Gradias. She's a lifelong resident of Tucson. She has confirmed she's a lifelong resident of Tucson. She has no criminal history. And, any bond for Ms. Gradias is gonna be akin to no bond. So we're asking for a $5,000 bond in this case.
Anything further from the state?
Judge, I'll speak more when it comes to the homicide case, but given the totality of the conduct, the state believes the requested bonds are appropriate for each case.
Bond will be $10,000. Preliminary hearing date September 30th at 1:30. No alcohol, illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons. No contact with the victim or any potential co-defendants, except through legal counsel. Do you understand that?
Yes.
And that very specifically and includes Alejandro Gomez. Do you understand that?
Yes.
And I'd suggest you not, and don't go back to the incident. Okay, I suggest you not discuss this matter with anyone except your attorney.
Yes.
Then we have another in a complaint charging you with felony first-degree murder, armed robbery, and aggravated robbery alleged to have occurred on September the 13th. I missed a signature on that. It's now been signed. I didn't sign it. Again, public defender's office will be appointed to represent you on these charges, and did either counsel wish to be heard further on conditions?
Nothing from the state, Judge.
Judge, you're just looking at the 9-10 case again,
No,
correct?
this is the 913 case.
Okay. Judge, we're asking that Ms. Gradias is held on a $250,000 bond. Again, she's a lifelong resident of Tucson, no criminal history. Again, she's not going to be able to post any bond in these cases. So we're asking for a $250,000 bond.
Anything further from the state?
Your Honor, given the totality of the conduct amongst the 3 cases that culminated in the homicide investigation, it was extremely reckless, extremely violent. The state understands the lack of criminal history, but given that this was an ongoing occurrence with 3 separate events over the span of about a week, the state believes a $1 million bond is appropriate.
Bond will be $750,000. Pretrial services, if the bond is posted, again, no firearms or weapons, no alcohol or drugs, no contact with alleged victims, the family of alleged victims, or in any potential co-defendants. You don't return to the incident locations. And then we also have charges from September the 10th for armed robbery and aggravated robbery. Public Defender's Office will be appointed to represent you in anything further on conditions of release.
Judge, we're asking for a $5,000 bond for the same reasons that I've stated previously.
Nothing further from the state, Judge.
All right, bond will be $10,000. No alcohol or drugs, no firearms or weapons, no contact with victims or any potential co-defendants except through legal counsel, and you don't return to the incident location. Thank you, Ms. Diaz.
Judge, we haven't set the preliminary hearing date yet.
September
Is it-
30th on all of them.
Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Judge Shade, and you are
Durand, McCutchen.
Ms. McCutchen. A number complaint charging with leaving the scene of a fatal collision alleged to have occurred on or about November the 28th of 2018. Will appoint public defender's office to represent you on these charges. And did either counsel wish to be heard on conditions?
Your Honor, the state would request the $500,000 bond requested. The state has serious concerns given the nature of the case, as well as noted in the interim or post-incident DUI arrest from the defendant, including a felony case. The state also has concerns given the extent of the actions taken by the defendant to cover up the incident, given that and the death of the victim, the age of the victim as well, the state would request a $500,000 bond.
Judge, we're asking that Ms. McCutchen is released to pretrial services. In the event that you're not inclined to release her, we're asking for a $5,000 bond. She is fully employed. She does have confirmed housing. This is the first time that she's been arrested on this issue, Judge. So she understands that she.
She actually was arrested at the time. And they may have.
Oh, I'm sorry.
missed that.
Well, Judge, in that event, this is the first time she's been arrested since it was refiled. So we're asking that she's released to pretrial services. So, and then that she's ordered to appear at court. Judge, if I may, just one moment to speak with her really quick. Okay. Never mind, Judge.
Anything further from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Given the serious nature of the charges and subsequent concerning behavior, I don't think that pretrial services is appropriate. But acknowledging that the defendant has successfully completed probation on the subsequent charges, that mitigates things to a great extent. So bond is going to be set at $50,000. The preliminary hearing date is September the 30th at 1:30. You don't drive without a license, no alcohol or illegal drugs, no alcohol in your residence or vehicles, and you don't go anywhere that alcohol is served or consumed. And you have no contact with the family of the alleged victim. Do you understand that? Right? Thank you, Ms. McCutchen. Good evening, I'm Judge Shade, and you, sir, are?
Louis Lovins Durand.
Mr. Durand, I have quite a stack of things here for you. I have charges out of Pima County Superior Court charging you with criminal trespass, possession of dangerous drugs, and possession of paraphernalia alleged to have occurred on or about September the 29th. Will appoint public defender's office to represent you on these charges, set an arraignment date for September 25th at 1:30 in the afternoon. And did either counsel wish to be heard on conditions?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
Yes, Judge. We're asking that Mr. Durand is released to pretrial services, or if you're not inclined, a $1,000 bond. He didn't pick up any new felonies. The current charges are nonviolent charges. He has confirmed housing with his sister. There are, as you can see, there are multiple court dates. It seems that he might have been confused about which court he had to go to on which day, and he was going to the wrong court on each day. So he knows that he can get in touch with his attorney to get help on the felony cases. So he knows which court to go to on which days. So we're asking that he's released to pretrial services in this case, and if you're not inclined, a $1,000 bond.
Anything further, Mr. Terrace?
No, Judge.
Bond will be $1,000. If you post the bond, you'll be distributed to pretrial services, no alcohol or illegal drugs, and you don't go back to the incident location. And I have a handful of files here for you. I have charges from June 20th of this year for possession of paraphernalia failing to appear. Looks like you were then failing to appear on July the 3rd. You were then in custody again on July 30th. You were released, given a court date of September the 3rd. Didn't appear then, came in on September the 9th. And you've got a pending motion to quash on that. Criminal trespass on January the 9th. Warrant pending on that. Possession of paraphernalia on May the 6th. Failures to appear. And criminal trespass on January the 9th. Failures to appear. Will appoint City Public Defender's Office to represent you on these charges. Bond is $250. If you post the bond, your court date will be October 22nd at 9 a.m. If you haven't posted it, you'll be seen on or about September 27th. Based on the status of your felony, your attorney may decide to continue that, but no alcohol or illegal drugs, and you don't go back to 1802 West St. Mary's. Do you understand that? Right. Thank you, Mr. Durand.
And Judge, what time will his hearing be if he's in custody on the 27th?
1:45.
Thank you.
Martinez?
No.
Good evening. I'm Judge Shade, and you, sir, are
Xavier Martinez.
Mr. Martinez, in a complaint charging with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, 2 counts. As well as charges of discharging firearm within city limits and endangerment, all alleged to have occurred on or about September the 12th. Looks like we have an attorney filing a special notice of appearance.
Yes, Your Honor, that's me.
All right, go right ahead.
Yes, Your Honor, we are asking that Mr. Martinez be released to pretrial services. If the court is not inclined, we are asking for a $5,000 bond. He is a lifelong resident of Tucson. He is the sole provider for his family. He has no prior criminal history. He does plan on retaining private counsel. He has retained our firm for purposes of facilitating a self-surrender, which occurred earlier today, showing that Mr. Martinez is not trying to hide from the situation, that he is trying to get out in front of it and face these charges. He is not a flight risk, and for that, we are asking that he be released to pretrial services.
Mr. Terrace.
Your Honor, the state has serious concerns about the safety of the community, given the nature of the offense. 2 separate residences were struck by gunfire, as well as a vehicle at one of the unaffiliated residences. There were 48 cartridge cases that were recovered on scene. Obviously, not all of them were fired by the defendant himself, but a portion of those were. The state understands that he does not have criminal history, but given the nature of the offense and the danger to the community, the state believes a $100,000 bond is appropriate.
Anything further, Mr. Olson?
No, Your Honor.
Pending a full notice of appearance, the public defender's office is appointed to represent the defendant. Preliminary hearing date September the 30th at 1:30. Bond will be $50,000, cash or secured. Bond is posted. You'll be under the supervision of pretrial services. No firearms or weapons. You'll need to surrender any firearms.
And I'm sorry, Your Honor, you said preliminary hearing of September, was that 30th?
There's to be no firearms in your residence or any vehicles that you're in.
See that?
You have no contact with the alleged victims or any potential co-defendants except through legal counsel, and you're not to return within 3 blocks of this incident location. Do you understand that?
Yes, yes, Your Honor.
Yes.
Your Honor, may I be excused?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Judge Shayad, and you are
Saw Muhammad.
Mr. Muhammad. Interim complaint charging you with possession of narcotic for sale, possession of paraphernalia. We'll appoint public defender's office to represent you on these charges, and either counsel wish to be heard further on conditions.
Nothing from the state, Judge.
Yes, Judge, we're asking that Mr. Muhammad is released to pretrial services. Pretrial services identified these charges as nonviolent.
Have you looked at the state's recommendation?
Yes, I did, Judge. I just
Okay.
want to make sure that we do agree with the state's recommendation.
Okay.
If you'd like me to elaborate, I can't.
You don't need to.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, you're certainly welcome to if you want to, but you don't. It's not necessary.
Okay, I'll
Preliminary hearing date will be October the 8th at 1:30 in the afternoon. You're going to be released to the third-party custody of pretrial services. No alcohol, illegal drugs. Your participated monitoring and treatment as they direct, which is likely to include substance abuse assessment and treatment. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
You're not to return within 2 blocks of the De Anza Park. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
And other than the course of treatment, I'd suggest you not discuss this matter with anyone except your attorney.
I appreciate you.
Thank you, Mr. Muhammad.
Ortega.
Yes.
Ortega, that's it.
Good evening. I'm Judge Shayad, and you are
Joshua Ortega.
Ms. Ortega. I've got a couple things here for you. I have a warrant out of Pima County Superior Court charging you with possession of burglary tools, burglary in the third degree, and theft of means of transportation. Alleged occurred on or about the 2nd of August. Will appoint public defender's office to represent you on these charges. Set an arraignment date for September 25th at 1:30, and did either counsel wish to be heard further on conditions?
Nothing from the state, Judge.
Yes, Judge, we're asking that Mr. Ortega is released to pretrial services, or if you're not inclined, a $1,500 bond. He was charged with no new felonies. Pretrial services recognizes as a nonviolent. He's a lifelong resident of Tucson.
Bond will be $3,500, cash is secured. You post the bond, you'll be in a superintendent of pretrial services. You need to comply with them this time, which will include no alcohol or illegal drugs. It's likely to include a substance abuse assessment and treatment. You'd have no contact with the victims and you're not to return to the incident location. Do you understand that? All right, I also have charges here from August the 2nd for shoplifting and possession of paraphernalia and failing to appear in court. We'll appoint Janet Altshuler to represent you on those charges. You're not to return to the incident location, no alcohol or illegal drugs. Court date tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Your bond is $50 cash. All right, thank you.
Judge, I'm so sorry. What time is tomorrow's hearing for Mr. Ortega? Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's right.
Good evening. I'm Judge Shade and you are.
Joe Bour Jr.
All right, Mr. Bowen, this is a review hearing on your criminal trespass or a warrant out of Maricopa County on criminal trespass charges. These are charges that go back to March 31st of 2022. We'll let the bond of $1,250 stand. Set a review hearing for October the 18th at 9 a.m. to see if Maricopa County has come to get you. I am noting that you do have a DOC hold, that you've been sentenced to DOC, time served. So you'll be transported to DOC upon release and then released from DOC. But
Your Honor,
yes,
But
but Maricopa County now has an opportunity to come and get you and take you up there. Okay,
Judge, if I could just get one moment to speak with him really quick, he
absolutely.
might have a question for you.
Okay.
Judge, if I could get a little bit of clarity, I feel a little bit out of my element right now.
Okay.
There's a current $1,200 bond on the Maricopa case,
And I'm
and that's
confirming
what's
that
holding
back.
it now. Okay,
Correct. But he also has a DOC hold, but his sentence was time served, so he would be transferred to DOC and released from DOC.
okay, so right now with the $1,200 bond on the Maricopa case, is that so that Maricopa can decide to pick him up, or is the DOC?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
Maricopa County decided to pick him up or not, which is why I'm putting up as much information as I can on the minute.
okay, thank you.
Your Honor,
Judge, I believe he would like to make a statement.
Your Honor,
I think if Judge, he would like to make a statement.
Okay.
Your Honor, I went to prison for that charge that's in Maricopa that I had a warrant for. I went to prison for that in Maricopa. The officers that arrested me for the criminal trespassing, they took me to prison, and I did 5 months in prison here in Tucson and in Phoenix for that charge, and I got released in around the time where they put
But
the warrant out
apparently
for me.
you had another court date that you didn't make, so the case wasn't resolved, even though you spent plenty of time on it. And they may decide to just dismiss the charge, or they may decide to bring you up and sentence you to time served. I don't know what they'll do, but they need to be given an opportunity to have you appear on that. And interpreter, I'm sorry, I didn't address you earlier, but obviously we don't need you. Sorry.
No worries, Your Honor. Thank you. Have a good night.
You too. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you, Your Honor. Have a good night.
Thanks, you too.
What did happen to the last 10? I ran away with my life, fast forward, never turn back again. It's kind of funny that the more